I didn't want it. This guy is, the more I became aware of who he was and what he did, it's like I have absolutely no interest. People are saying he's a comedian. He points out hypocrisy. No, he doesn't. He's just a right-wing lunatic. Like, if you go up to people and just start screaming baby murderer, you have no interest in any type of discussion. That's how you feel, fine. You'll never change, but he's not going to be on this show. His last DM to me made no sense, but I'm done talking to him. It's so great you're melting down on Twitter is in 4K, and honestly, my original comment wasn't meant to be a dig. I was trying to make a point that some accusations are false and not to believe everything you hear, but you just melted like a rich baby. That makes no sense. How is your first dig, which is, I'll read what he said exactly, was to show that you shouldn't believe everything you read? What? Like, what in the world are you talking about?
This is a story of several insufferable humans. We're gonna start with Dave Portnoy, who is complaining about Alex Stein, which is another person here in this trio of anger. It's one of those fights where you can sit back and just watch it. Alex Stein is that comedian, comedian who shows up at town hall meetings and council board things and has his raps and hip hop things that he does. And he's a freestylist, and he showed up at a different event and started harassing folks that were protesting as well. So that's Alex Stein. Apparently he's beefing with Dave Portnoy, who's the head of Barstool Sports. You guys have heard him too. So this whole thing began because Stein tweeted something out and Portnoy's folks over there deleted it. They weren't big on it because of some money issues. Let's keep it real. So on Monday, Portnoy and Stein started this online feud after a video from Stein was shared and promptly deleted from the Barstool Sports Twitter account. Barstool cited that the post was deleted because it discussed gambling in a negative light, which violated a content rule at the company. This company is owned by a gambling giant, Penn Entertainment. Penn Entertainment doesn't want you talking bad about gambling because Penn Entertainment is promoting gambling. 2 + 2 is 4. So Stein tweeted this out in response to this whole thing. It's so cute that Barstool Sports is owned by Stool Presidente, of course, that is Portnoy, who is accused of the most heinous things, but they're too afraid to keep my content up. And he's showing what they had put up before of his own content. There's Alex Stein, in case you forgot who he is. Portnoy did respond though, because that's Dave Portnoy. He goes, buddy, shut the F up. We're owned by a gambling company. We have roughly 9,000 training sessions not to post stuff like this because regulators don't like it. Go back to whatever hole you crawled out of. Wow, fire is flowing. Then it went worse because then Portnoy, of course, is responding to something else that Alex Stein then posted. This is another tweet here from these two battling it out. Portnoy says, I effing hate this guy. Alex Stein again, and I will actively root for his demise. As Alex Stein, at least someone else posed Alex Stein above Portnoy's grave. It's getting serious for these guys. It didn't end there, Dan. You know what? Let's pause for a second. Dan, let's go for the first level of this fight from Portnoy to Stein and gambling.
My first point is just kind of let them fight because I hate both of them. Stool Presidente, so to speak, Dave Portnoy is just a reprehensible human being. Alex Stein, I just don't like him. He's trashy. I don't really find him to be funny. He raps so poorly that I get racially offended every time I watch the video. But I just love the fact that they are fighting and they are at it. At one point, I think in one of the interviews, like Dave Portnoy jumps out and calls Alex Stein a right-wing lunatic. Oh, I want to see if what is this Dave Portnoy trying to make a pivot to being a CNN host now? Like, where is his angle here? Because who is he to be calling anyone a right-wing lunatic? I think that's just, this is so, I want to see it get uglier. I want to see them crabs in a bucket destroy each other and put them to the ground. Like, this is just humorous to me.
Well, I feel like they must think there's levels. There's right-wing lunatic, but then there's just right-wing supporter. Maybe they figure, he's the radical right-winger, and then Portnoy's just the guy who hangs out with and supports Donald Trump. That's all.
No, don't say there's levels. That's a new rap that Alex Stein can write.
No, by the way, again, as I was talking about, this is a money thing. Which, by the way, I get it. Everybody's doing this stuff online to make money anyway. So if someone is going to interfere with that, you have to cut it off. As he actually was pretty honest about that. He goes, bro, we talked about this. We can't do things like this because we're trying to make some money. And the people who are literally paying me or us or own this whole thing don't like it. It's capitalism in this country, right? Here's another angle of that capitalism, because suddenly the Blaze's Jason Whitlock, formerly of Fox Sports, formerly a sports guy, and he decided to make some money in this realm. He's not too happy with Portnoy either, so he injected his thoughts about Dave in this battle. Third level, let's go.
Is Dave Portnoy on your target list to be trolled?
Well, let me give you the inside scoop. So I have a mutual friend from college that now works at Barstool Sports, and Dave had him on the podcast. So my friend called me today and said, "Oh, Dave talked about you on his podcast today." So it's not going to stop. And my friend, he works for Barstool. He's like, "Alex, I want this off the record." But basically, and I'm not going to say anything he said off the record, but I'm going to say this. I said, "Listen, Ben, you better tell Dave, you better warn them that when I'm in New York City, I'm coming straight to the headquarters and I'm going to find him. I don't care if he's doing a pizza review. I don't care if he's doing a podcast. Primetime 99, Alex Stein is going to call him out to his face." And he said that Dave addresses if that potentially happens. So I think this is just chapter 1 in the Primetime versus Presidente, novel. So we shall see where it goes from here. And he even said in his tweet, he's rooting for my demise. So if I'm the villain in his, in his biography, I don't mind playing that role. I love professional wrestling. I'll be the Stone Cold Steve Austin to the Dave Portnoy.
It was the comparison I was gonna make, Dan. These guys sound like WWE actually it was back in the WWF days when they used to have the pre-match interviews with what was his name? The guy with the little mustache. Mean Gene Okerlund. They'd talk to Mean Gene Okerlund and be like, "I'll tell you what, brother. You said he wants to see my demise. Wait till we get in that ring." It's like this is a calm version of that. Again, it goes back to everyone trying to insert their face in nose in this to make some money. Actually, Whitlock wasn't even done because he went solo and decided to go after Portnoy some more. Watch this. This is fun.
Dave Portnoy, El Presidente, is a fraud. He has no core values, no defined set of beliefs. He has no redeeming qualities other than his wealth. Remove his money and he wouldn't have a friend in this world. If we weren't living in an era completely hostile to masculinity, Portnoy would be broke in Boston delivering pizza. The prohibition of masculinity is what made heroes and millionaires of men like Portnoy and TikTok influencer Andrew Tate.
Well, this is just really heightened much more now. Now we have a third member here on the battle. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna come off that top rope. I'm gonna be the third member. I don't care what the referees say. More from the battle, because of course Portnoy responded. He tweeted, "You're fat." It's about his response there. But there was one other, I promise you guys, is the last leg of the fight. This is when the chairs come in. This is when someone's climbing the top rope and they have their mask on. Dave Portnoy jumps off the top ropes and says this about Jason Whitlock. By the way, Whitlock, you forgot to delete this one when you almost choked to death on that thing. Do we have video of that? Let's show him.
Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports. Is he the most important person in sports right now? I gotta say, Dave Portnoy and Barstool, they're the most disruptive thing I think we've seen in the sports world since Colin Kaepernick. Obviously, Dave Portnoy and what he built at Barstool Sports inspired me.
So apparently Jason Whitlock is all over the place. Portnoy's pointing that out. He's battling with Alex Stein, but then Whitlock's jumping in. Can you keep up with this?
You will never get me to agree with Dave Portnoy on anything or even hand it to him under any circumstances.
I almost got you there though. You're almost gonna do it.
It was very close. It was very close. No, I love a good. Oh, really? This you? I love a good video clip that shows exactly what they're doing. But now I was kind of commenting in the back channel chat here that these sports people are doing the most boring WWF WWE impression. Like it sounds like Alex Stein is related to Ben Stein, the currently radical conservative libertarian guy with the very, very boring voice who people my age know as the voice the Pixies from the Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah, they were. It sounds like they are feuding all together in one. It's one of the most boring tone things. I'm gonna come for them and I'm going to expose and troll them. these are adults. Some of them have families. It's kind of amazing that they're still arguing like this. But I love a good feud. I love a good distracting. Let them fight together. It's great.
I'll leave you guys with this. This all started because they took down a tweet where he said something negative about gambling. This could have been so nothing.